we see these poor people make these claims that got them killed. And then we saw the spread of it and the power and the structure of it with our own people of African descent. Europe did not influence Africa with Christianity.
It did.
Africa influenced Europe. There is a guy named Thomas C. Odom, a white man from Princeton, that wrote an incredible book years ago. And it's a brilliant read, How Africa Reshaped the Christian Mind. Africa was the hub and the genesis of the Christian faith. Tertullian, you look at Augustine, you look at Origen, these are all men of color. These are African men that were the forefathers of the Christian faith.
I mean, I don't know enough to challenge, so I'm just going to have to take it.
But I promise you, it is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I think that that's the problem. See, what you said is so beautiful, is that there is not enough historical academic conversations happening in defense of the Christian faith. So now we have all of this revisionist history.
I want to tell you though, I want to see, here's the thing. I don't think that the Christian faith would need to be defended if it wasn't so often being used to offend.
Fair.
Because I don't even think it matters if Jesus was real or not, if whatever we're using is helping people. I genuinely don't.
I just don't want him to be limited to this self-help book. That's what I'm saying, is that
no, I don't think it's self-help. I think it's not just self-help, it's also a life path, right? I think that it's guidance, right? It's a North Star. It's a beacon. It's a
Preach.
It's the sensors on your car when you're going, when you're going into the other lane, it goes do, 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 and it brings it's so silly. So we all have different things that, not different things. We all have different methods for that. My issue is that I think we end up putting so much effort into, like, I see this on the internet all the time where people want to respond with Bible verses to defend. And I'm like, this is irrelevant.
Right.
Because ultimately, I'm like, you wouldn't have to defend this if you weren't using this to harm.
And I can't argue against that. I have no rebuttal to that truth. And I think that has been the most disheartening part of the journey that I've had to walk through over the last 2 decades as a Christian, is to see the deficiencies of the faith that I've subscribed to, that I've given my life to. And I know that as often in the Christian community, there's a lot of things being pointed at culture right now. Culture's the problem of this. Culture's problem.
Well, they've been getting at you about that, right? Like, you doing too much culture with your Christianity.
Since day one.
Quit making these people stomp.
Since day one.
People having too much fun.
I've been gyrating too much since day one. I've been gyrating too much. I've been
drop it low for Jesus.
Wasn't that horrible? Did you remember that?
Shout out to
but it was good though. It was good and terrible. I remember saying it was good and terrible. And so I do think that is the reason why I said earlier that I do think that there needs to be a new PR person in place. I think that there needs to be something. And when I say that,
you know what the best PR for Jesus would be? Loudly challenging those who are misusing his image.
Amen.